first question. Oliver Bonk wasn't on the ice.
Yeah.
What's his status?
Just a low maintenance day. He won't play today, but the plan is to have him in tomorrow.
Okay.
Do you have a goalie, or maybe like the goalie strategy for this kind of 2 games?
Yeah, Carson's going to play today, and we'll reevaluate after the game.
You had Alex bump a little bit end of the season in Lehigh. Now you're seeing him here. What's the growth that you've seen from when he came in fresh out of college to where he is now?
Yeah, I think he's made a lot of gains body-wise and maturity-wise with his offseason. I've talked about it a little bit before with him about him is when he came in right away, like he had a lot of success when we had the regular season games. I think he had a lot of success in that first round of series against Wilkes-Barre. And then when we played against Hershey, who's a veteran, older, tight checking team, the conversations that we had was just his pace and his pace off the puck needed to be a little bit quicker of just getting into spots because they close quick. They're hard at defending. He had a little bit more space in the regular season games in the first round of playoffs as opposed to what he did in Hershey. And right now, like what I'm seeing at him is that his pace looks pretty good. Like he's jumping into the holes when he needs to be there. He's always attacking the interior of the rink. He's not afraid to go there. So what we've talked about and the constructive criticism, the teaching points that we had for him, he's really trying to make sure that he's got an effort in that.
Does that speak to his mental? As much as these guys are all physically able to do what needs to be
Correct.
done, but as far as, it's between the ears that these guys really show their special. The fact that he's able to add and adapt that quickly, is it a surprise or does it speak to just who he is as a player and his potential?
No, I'm not surprised by it at all. He's a cerebral, intelligent hockey player, like especially when it comes to the offensive side of the game. He is so strategic as where he needs to go. He never puts himself outside of a scoring area. He always reroutes back interior, so he's always putting himself into good spots. He understands how the plays are developing, and he understands the D-zone coverage of where he can jump into holes and where they're vulnerable. So I think a lot of players, like a lot of those offensive minds, those high-end offensive minds, like it's just natural for them. So for him to grab the information that we had for him is that your pace just needs to step up a little bit to get to those spots a little bit quicker, and him to adjust in the offseason and take it in. Not surprising to me, but sometimes that's hard to do because when you're coming from junior and college, like you haven't had to do that all the time. So you get wired, especially if you're there for 3 years, 4 years, however long you're there. You wire yourself. Well, I got a little bit more time than I'm used to, and or than I would get probably at the pro level. And he's adjusted quickly, and you can see it on the ice. He looks really good right now.
One thing that was very noticeable to us, even dating back to when Bump was drafted, was the confidence. This is a guy who really thinks that he's going to be an NHL player. I guess, from being around him at the end of last season and then at camp, I guess, how would you characterize, his unique brand of confidence? What's he like?
Well, I think players with that skill set, like having that confidence was what they need. Like I think it's important to be confident when you're an offensive threat. I think if you look at the NHL, most every one of those guys have that confidence and that swagger. The greatest thing about him is that he's confident when he steps on the ice, and he's the most incredibly like calm and reserved and nice person off the ice. It's like he's got a personality where it's like, I'm on the ice, this is who I am. When I'm off the ice, he's one of the nicest human beings you'll ever be around, and he's so respectful, and he's quiet, he's inclusive with everybody. So it's an impressive trait to be able to go from being so calm and being such a good quiet presence off the ice and stepping on the ice, and he's got that mindset of I want to take over and I want to dominate games.
So it's almost like a confidence without ego.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's an ego part of him. He knows he's a good hockey player. Like they all are. They all should know that. Like that's what happens when you step on the ice, is you should have that confidence that I'm here and I belong here.
With Alex is there was some critiquing of his game where maybe he needs to be a little stronger on the puck in terms of when he has contact, and maybe he falls over a little bit or is not strong staying up on his skates. Do you see any difference from maybe last year where that was maybe an issue to this year?
Yeah, I thought there was moments especially in the Hershey series when some of the bigger guys got into him that, and I think that's with anybody moving into that from college into the pro level, just because things are going to be a little bit harder and quicker. The one skill that he has that is, I don't know how you teach it, I'll be completely honest with you. He just has that ability to just kind of slide through checks, right? Like some players just have that, like he's like an eel. He just kind of slides through things. But now we're trying to build that part of where he can bring guys into him and use that body and that frame to get some space for himself, to get out of it and not always have to slide through things. Maybe he can bait a guy in, get some contact. Now we create space. We can make a play through guys. And he's really focusing on doing that. I think he's been strong on his skates in the couple days that we've been on the ice here, the last 2 days. And we'll see obviously what it looks like tonight, because the Rangers have some big players. So.
And he loves to cut to the middle.
He does.
And obviously in the NHL, you're there's a good chance you get rocked doing that. What's the conversation like with him in regards to that? Because you want to see him cut to the middle, you want to see him drive to the net, but he's got to be aware of you're going to have like a 6'6" defenseman coming at you.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing I'd say with him is I don't think you can say that he looks down at the puck very much. So his whole game is with his eyes up, and that's what makes him who he is, and that's what gives him the confidence to be able to step inside in those situations. I think if his eyes are up all the time, and if he sees that there's no space to go there, he's not going to go there because he knows he's going to put himself in a vulnerable spot. But his eyes are up all the time. Like there's nothing he's not seen when the puck's on his stick and when the puck's not off his stick. I don't think he looks at the puck very much. If you guys watch it, it's pretty impressive skill.
I believe it was after the first game against Wilkes-Barre. He did an interview after the game where he basically said that he felt like their defense was soft. And I talked to him this summer, and he laughed, and he's like, "Yeah, it felt like they were gunning for me the rest of that series after that. Maybe I won't do that again." But does that play into sort of just the way that he looks at the game, and he's going to kind of call it like it is?
I would assume so. I don't want to speak for him. I think it was a good learning moment for him and for everybody, and how this works. And I don't know if I can go further into it, but I thought he handled it well after it. He didn't think too much after it. I mean, obviously we knew the comments were made, and he moved on, and it was a good learning moment for everybody. But I don't want to comment on him on how he sees that situation.
How much do you know about Tucker Robertson, the trade acquisition? I don't know if you guys faced him a lot in the AHL, but yeah, how much do you know about his game? What are the reports that you got?
Well, we never crossed over with the West, so we never saw them at all. Just on me watching some video, obviously seeing him in practice now. He's got a high engine. He plays really hard. He's got a high end. He's got some really good skill. Like he can skate. He makes plays. He's not afraid to bring guys into him. From the reports that I've got, he's a very intelligent player that can play both ends of the rink, and he's reliable. He can create offense for you, but he can also be a good defensive presence. So I think he's looked really good so far. I think he's making some plays. He's confident when he's out there, as he should be. He's played a couple of years pro, so I'm excited to see what he looks like tonight and get a real good feel for who he actually is as a player. Really good kid, quiet, subdued. He's very, very smart questions. So I've been impressed so far.
Nikita Ginkin, you had him after the deadline last year. What did you see from him last year? What are you seeing from him now? What do you think he needs to do to maybe push for that NHL spot?
Well, I think he just needs to continue being who he is. One of the greatest strengths about him is that he can extend an O-zone like crazy. His ability to bring guys in and cut back and hold on to pucks and fend guys off and then beat two checks with a little slip play. And he's a passer. He likes to pass the puck. I think the big thing with him is improving his foot speed in his first 2-3 strides. I think he's done a good job at gaining some traction on that. He looks pretty good right now when his first 2 strides are going. Once he gets into his top end speed, he's good, right? But his success comes when he gets below the dots, and that's where he takes a game over, and he can make a ton of plays out down there, and he's hard to close off because he's always getting a guy on him, and he's saving space, and he's getting out of there. So he's just if his foot speed continues to grow, he's a pretty good player that we're going to be very excited about.